All right, and welcome to episode 31 of Salt Plays Sunless Sea. Let me start off by reading my notes. We've got the sigil-ridden navigator wants 2 specimens of the Chapel of Lights. We now have 2 strange catches, which probably not this trip because I'm so low on fuel, but in the future I'll be able to change into live specimens with the Udder Shroom, and then we can go work on his story some more. The Fathom King has a bunch of shit he wants. The Venturer wants 1 colossal fluke core or 7 lamentable relics. The people up at Savior's Rocks want 3 tomb colonists. The Clattery Heir, the Clattery Heart is at Adam's Way. I have visited Port Cecil for the checkered character, and the Admiralty. The Cannoneer wants me to go to Estival, and I need to buy Foxfire candles. That's everything I have written down, and now we're gonna go sailing the Empire of Hands. Communal wooden boats offer free passage to all travelers willing to row between islands. So I'm just going to start at the top and go down. A scouting trip, Sovereign Island. A wooden palace stretches across the whole island, passage to it lit by a field of tiny glim buoys. The heart of the Empire. Many boats circle the island, all keeping their distance. The one that gets closest is an extended rowboat painted in yellows, whites, and reds. 4 servant monkeys strain at the oars, while its true passenger sits in comfort behind a gauze curtain. Just for a moment an eye catches yours, but only for a moment. It would not do for a high-souled ape to see something so beneath its notice. Today, the sprawling place is called the Wild Wheeled Court. Tomorrow? Who knows? The world of the Pentecost apes is one of cruel whimsy, where stolen traditions last only as long as their amusement. We cannot gain access to the court because I don't have a gift for the Monkey Emperor, so we're going to go back to the boat. There is more sailing to be done today. The guards stare as you row away. It will take some effort to ingratiate yourself here. Perhaps if you could find something on one of the other islands. Alright, a scouting trip. The Ash Isthmus. Neither man nor ape claims this volcanic remnant between islands. Haunted, they say. Ridiculous. Of all of the worlds to not believe in hauntedness, this is the one where you choose not to believe in hauntedness. Of apes and monkeys. The trip offers a little time to think on the Penties. Technically, they are monkeys rather than apes, but it is not tactful to remind them of this. To their high-souled faces, the accepted name is Pentecost apes. In private, though, the bloody monkeys is about as common. It is, one might say, an ad hominoid insult. Ash Isthmus. Black beaches give way to an oasis of gently glowing trees and the scent of rotting flowers. I'm going to enter the forest, because what is the point of this game but entering mysterious forests? Parasynthetic vegetation thrives in the Empire of Hands' fertile soil and cool humidity. Into the woods. Wide natural paths run between clumps of trees, softly lit by a dim green glow and the occasional glimmer of false stars through the canopy. Only the cracking of leaves and the soothing sounds of water break the serenity of this volcano-forged paradise. What could possibly go wrong if I go hunting for supplies? Not many of the plants and berries here are familiar, but some of them at least look similar to ones that were being eaten back in Port Stanton. Spit. A single drop of juice hitting your tongue is enough to confirm that no, this is not fit for human consumption. Dying of thirst would be a mercy in comparison. We failed. I figured that would happen. I can try again. That was a free loss and I can try again. Yo. A meal of berries. Some are sweet, some are sour. None are as tempting as a plate of salted pork with the worms already picked out, but they fill a corner or two perfectly acceptably. I did not get any supplies out of that. Gonna try again. I feel like... Oh, great. Cool. Okay, so it can get other things. A very bad berry. The vomiting is long and thunderous. Fortunately, that is the worst of it, and it could so easily have been worse. We now have 10 hunger. Great. I'm gonna try one more time. Ooh, cool. A meal of... Oh, yes, I already read that. Okay, so that was always getting rid of 5 hunger. I just had no hunger before. Interesting. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna do it one more time. Yes, there we go. Okay. I'm back to the same I was, I guess. Let's relax in a hot spring. I feel like this does a thing, but maybe it's a different one where this does a thing. Steam and a hint of sulfur gently rise from a secluded natural pool flanked by trees and mushrooms. A moment for yourself. You slip out of your itchy clothes and into the welcoming caress of You slip out of your itchy clothes and into the welcoming caress of hot, deep water. The salts and sweats of Zayling life melt away as you simply float, bare and free. Above, false stars glimmer bright enough to be worth wishing on. All around, the glow of the trees casts ambient calm on the silent peace. How long has it been since you had a moment like this? Since London? Longer? Okay. So we have we have a bunch of things that we can think about. A thought for your lover, a thought for your child, a thought for the past, a thought for the future, a thought for the east, a thought for the Z, or no thoughts, not right now. I'm going to say a thought for the Z. As mysterious and deadly as the first day you set sail on her, she remains your mistress and your kingdom. The endless adventure. You could travel a lifetime and never see all her secrets. Perhaps it has been longer. Time moves differently out here, in the still blackness and changeless light of candles and false stars. Had you a chance to start over, what would you have done differently? What paths might you have followed? What deeds could you still... Wait, what was that? It sounded like giggling? Caught! A tiny blonde girl perches waiting on a rock. Her innocent grin is spiced with mischievous glee. She moves like a monkey, but she giggles like an imp. At the look on your face at being caught bathing in her hot spring, and the one that floods onto it as she scoops up your clothes. A monkey foundling. Shipwrecked as a baby, raised by the Empire of Hands, she now plays between the worlds of apes and men, neither quite one nor entirely of the other. So we can either demand that she put those down at once, or a desperate swim. Curse these relaxed limbs. I'm going to try this one. The monkey foundling makes things interesting. She waits, grinning innocently, until you emerge from the hot spring with nothing but your strategically placed hands for modesty. Before you can get close enough, though, she bolts from her couch position and into the forest on all fours, a scampering run that turns every rock and fallen tree into a springboard. An occurrence. Your Empire of Hands' quest for dignity quality is now won. We can either chase her or fie upon them, let them stare. I'm gonna say fie upon them, let them stare, let their tongues volunteer them for a whipping. An awkward return. You stride back on board your ship, eyes locked straight ahead and daring anyone to comment. They do not. In the days that follow, however, word is brusquely spread throughout the crew that anyone else heard singing that song will be swimming the rest of the way home. That song soon becomes a body staple in the singing mandrake. It's not a fame to be envied. Okay, we lost some terror for that, so that's neat. Okay, a scouting trip. Fountainhead Island. Ancient secrets peek out of the trees. Any may visit, but few Penties ever bother to make the pilgrimage. A young ancient empire. The Empire of Hands is hardly as old as they pretend, but mimicry and theft infuses their whole culture. If the Penties have come to think that rulers should be buried in ancient temples, then it is ancient temples that they will build. It would hardly be the first time their attempts to mirror humanity have entirely missed the point. A treasure hunt. Swiftly growing vegetation keeps a thick forest wrapped around variably ancient ruins. Even the yet-to-be plundered ones are heavily scarred with crowbar marks. Let's go with a temple in the forest. In a clearing of parasynthetic trees looms an imposing structure of wood and stone. The Vault of the First Emperor. It stretches through the forest in a number of styles, each designed by the whims of the latest Pentecost apes who felt it needed to be made grander. It would take a dedicated team to break in and uncover its secrets. Perhaps you will bring one here later. Okay, I don't have an ancient-ish treasure map, so no treasure hunt today. We simply must return to the boat. It will take a better-equipped expedition to uncover this island's secrets and treasures. Perhaps there is someone in fallen London who might be able to help you get to the treasures of this island. And finally, a scouting trip. Hearthsake Island. A thin pillar of greasy yet appetizing smoke rises from the only human settlement in the Empire. The Blumenbach Quarantine. The Admiralty has never stated precisely why it seeks to keep the Empire confined, though most opposition to it fades when said opposers actually encounter a Pentecost ape. They have been easy to corral, however. Though they do not lack wit, there is not an inventive bone in their hairy bodies, and no amount of stolen humanity has taught them the art of creating engines. Let's go with the Lost Treasure Hunter. He squints at a map, muttering incoherently. North for each city the bats are brought down. He wipes his brow. Have you seen a big X on the ground by any chance? I got these 4 map pieces that got me this far and said X would mark the spot, but I can't find an X anywhere. He looks at the map sadly. It should be here, it says. Now where am I supposed to dig? He is too busy to talk right now, but adds that he will be in the village later if you want to trade adventuring supplies. Don't try the meatballs, he warns, getting back to his search. You just don't want to do that. Alright, we will approach the village. A greasy smoke and guiltily tempting aromas rise from a collection of huts around a long-beached pirate ship and a field of pointedly impaled monkeys. An explosion almost takes off your head. Sorry about that, booms the boisterous pirate, lowering his smoking blunderbuss as bits of shattered tree rain down. New arrival, are we? Well, if you haven't got a tail, you're all right by me. He squints, momentarily suspicious. You don't have a tail, do you? Wouldn't put it past the thieving little buggers to go shaving one of their own. Wouldn't know fair play if it kicked 'em up right up the arse. Kicked him up right up the ass. His voice is louder than his blunderbuss. The congealed meat juices on his thick beard are better not considered. Hearthsake Village. It was not madness that drove these pirates to cannibalism, but years of being shipwrecked without the comfort of meat. After a while, any meat would do. Return to the boat. They seem a friendly sort and are shocked at the idea that they would ever be such poor hosts as to eat a guest, but then they have no shortage of supplies. Okay, that was... Okay. Back to Port Stanton. The Z is quiet. The journey is pleasingly uneventful. You have not been eaten by cannibal pirates. All things considered, a successful trip. Explorations complete. Perhaps you can use the information you've gleaned. Prepare a comprehensive port report. Few have reason to brave the waters this far east, especially with the trade embargo. The Admiralty will pay especially well for up-to-date intelligence. The islands of the Empire. All of them warrant further attention. For now, though, it would be best to see if your initial discoveries can whet the interest of anyone back home. I feel like probably this will just... Okay. Yes, we will need the help of someone in Fallen London to continue exploring the Empire of Hands. I believe that's a lady who gives us talk on these people. Port Stanton. Soul-hungry monkeys reluctantly tend this trading post, waiting for an opportunity to escape. Bloated fleas hop from ape to man and man to ape, gorging themselves without a care for which is which. Let's check this out. Oh, I should have read that. I don't want to do any of these things. I feel like Shore Leave lost me crew every time I did it, so I think I'm going to say, especially since this has been like 16 minutes, that I am done here. I'm gonna head out. Did I say I wanted to go? Why is stuff not disappearing like it usually does? There we go. I think I'm gonna go like this. Maybe. I should go just straight across. Honestly, I am genuinely worried about my fuel supplies. The Zeppelin looks very cool. This game is so great. All of its art is beautiful, and by art I mean its music and its writing and its like images. Oh yeah, and that secret. Okay, what do I need to increase? 46. Okay, so we'll do veils. Okay. Is there anything else garden-wise to chat about? Planted a bunch of tomatoes. I've been working with a group called Food Not Bombs, and theoretically we do like free hot vegan meals for people, but like no progress has been made on setting those up. But we have set up like a group garden, which mostly just 3 of us are using, but like that is better than nobody having free food, or kind of free food. And this week, a bunch of radishes were ready to harvest. They are delicious. Okay. Wisdom. The prison walls are mercilessly steep. Noopmidit built this place as a prison for the Khanate. Now it answers only to its governor, and its governor answers to no one. I'm just gonna compile a port report. Not so many goings. Ships from the Khanate are most common, but you see Chilenite vessels, polythreme trimarines with chained and sulky unfinished men, corsairs disposing of their miscreants, even one furtive Irumi skiff. The wardens pay them well for their prisoners. Sorry for the water noises. Should I buy another fuel? I'm not going to buy another fuel. I'm probably going to regret that, but let's go south, see if I can grab that one little black box. The radishes were ready for harvest this week, which is super great. Very tasty little radishes. I don't remember what variety we planted, but they were ones that are like great for eating just straight out of the ground. Rinse them off with some clean water and just chomp on them. Delicious. I love the time of year for having garden fresh food. In our home garden, we've started to get some peas. The tomatoes are blooming and the peppers are blooming, and the blueberries are starting to grow. They're not. I don't know how long it takes for blueberries to get ready for harvest. I spent my whole childhood, my parents tried to make tried to grow blueberries, and we never really succeeded. But this bush right now has the most blueberries I've ever seen on a blueberry bush, which granted is only like 15, but that's still like more than I've had before. So they're like in their white stage right now. I have no idea how long they take. Okay, Nuncio, do not return, sender. Taciturn functionaries walk the docks in the uniforms of postmen. An enormous crowned statue casts a chilling shadow. The shadows gleam with rats' eyes. Their ceaseless chittering rolls like the tide. I'm just gonna assemble a port report. The Admiralty won't understand, but you can do your best to explain it all anyway. The theology of postal work, the pull, the scarred obedience of postmen, the attention to detail that is both pretty, petty, and sacred, the anguish, the camaraderie among the sufferers, the willingness to endure visitors, even visitors who do not understand their tribulations and ask foolish, ill-informed questions. I'm also going to explore along the beach. Shifty going. The rocks slip and slither underfoot, but you keep your balance. I'm going to rescue a parcel that won't stop meowing. Extraordinary. There aren't even any air holes. Ow! The parcel's contents are not at all pleased to make your acquaintance. A yellow glare, a flash of claws, a distinctive odor. Then the horrible animal is out of sight. You'd like to believe it will come to regret mauling you, but alas, it's likely to regard this rat-infested island as a paradise. Your left cheek will never be quite the same. Back to the docks. Given how long this episode already is, I don't want to do things, if that makes sense, like, especially because I've already done like pretty much everything that there is to be done in Nuncio. I don't want to rehash it. So it's Pigmoat and probably Mutton Island and then home. Unfortunately, no, they don't give me free food. I misremembered what you get from the lightships for recent news. I was thinking it was fuel, but it's not. It's like terror reduction. I was gonna say, unfortunately, it and blah 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 blah, but it doesn't matter. This is not going great for me. I am watching those numbers tick, tick, tick down in concerning ways. Okay, Pigmoat Isle. 2 houses, both alike in dignity. Hail Marinia, the Neath's most adorable nation, scurries around your legs. Scintillac harvesters drag heavy bags of the island's bounty to their silos. Industrious rodents work hard on towering edifices, some of them almost neck-high. London will never believe a bloody word of this. Let's compile a port report, and help Marinia solve a dilemma. A dilemma. How will you advise Pigmoat Isle? Pigmoat Isle approaches a crossroads. A chill hangs over the chicken woods. The trees creak in the still air. The aide shivers. Do you feel it, hairless advisor? They say a monster lives out here, where even our light cannot reach. Our farmers refuse to tend their mushrooms until they can be sure of reaching them in safety, but we can find no trace of the beast. What can we do? Either we can suggest raising the chicken woods, burn the trees, leave it nowhere to hide. That seems like you're begging for Iceland to happen. Or declare their fears superstition. The best weapon against irrational fear is a good distraction. A party, perhaps. In case you don't know what I mean, Iceland doesn't have trees on it. Didn't have trees on it. The Norse people showed up to Iceland and cut down all of the trees. So now Iceland doesn't have trees. So I think if they raise the chicken woods, they're going to get the same thing happening, potentially. Although they are not in an Arctic island. But I don't want them to destroy the chicken woods, so I'm going to declare their fears superstition, which we only have a 48% chance of succeeding. Comfort and company. The celebration takes the rodents' minds off the shadowy threat. By the warmth of a good fire, the vague unknown is no longer something to squeak at or twitch their whiskers over. It may be more bravado than actual courage, but it's the kind that lasts even after the fire has burned down to charcoal. You succeeded in a spirit challenge. We've resolved the dilemma. They've gained some spirit, and I got 50 fragments. Cool. Can I buy fuel from you? I cannot. I thought that I could, so that's interesting. I still don't want to, that seems bad. I'm not going to stop by Mutton Island. I'm just going to go straight home. I've made it this far. Maybe I will be fine. Probably I will be fine. I mean, I also have supplies to convert. It's going to be harder if I have this thing to kill, though. I'm not going to dodge at all. I'm just gonna let it do its thing. There we go. Let's let it disperse. Oh, sorry, let me read this whole thing. Gilliflower's end. The gilliflower. Is it a young jellyfish, a lesser subspecies? Do the dreams of the jellyfish become real? In any case, now it's a sad slick of goo dissolving into the Z. I'm going to scoop it up. Perhaps you can eat it. Better yet, perhaps your sailors can. A spreading stain. It's gone. You are left with gooey gloves and a buttery smell. And this purple thing. Is it an egg? A heart? A less fortunate traveler. Dissolved and shriveled to mauve ruin. Put it somewhere safe. Got another strange catch. Keep pressing the wrong buttons. Any other interesting stuff to talk about? Not that I want to share. So we're just going to be quiet for the rest of the episode, probably. There's a rabbit outside my window. Alright, gather up the corpses. Into the pot. 1 supplies. Restless nights. In the watches of the night, you pad softly past the hatch to the crew quarters. A man cries out softly in his sleep, desperately. Another. Going to inquire about their dreams. We succeeded. Eyes and a face. The whole Neath lit up like a snuffer mask. There's something in the roof, Captain. It is the roof. It's watching us. Eyes and a face. Eyes and a face. Yes, you say softly. You lay your hand on the sailor's burning forehead. There are storms in the roof. Hush, we won't join them yet. Got 10 terror for that. Great. I probably should have expected that. Oh, do I want to fight this pirate ship? Sure. Again, with the, if I'm gonna fight these guys, I'm not gonna dodge at all. I have totally enough hull, and I don't have enough fuel. We got 2 supplies, 2 fuel, and a cask of mushroom wine. Let me also see. No, okay. I can keep my lights on for the rest of the voyage. It is genuinely so funny to me that the Far From Home lightship generated so close to London. I know this one is always here, and that they still get the Far From Home texts, but that other one is just very funny to me. Alright. An inspection by the Ministry of Public Decency. Some things are too illegal for the Customs Service to admit the existence of. The Ministry are here looking for those. Nothing to hide. You shrug and invite them to search your ship as thoroughly as they would like. They leave scuff marks on the newly scrubbed decks and take great pleasure in tangling the rigging. They find nothing more dangerous than moldy ship's biscuit. Let's get a breath of relief and collect some messages. Okay, can be created. So, like, do I just... Where are you? Here. Yes. Okay. Assemble vital intelligence. Time to put the pieces together. All of these options will give you a single piece of vital intelligence, which you can trade to the Admiral, the Diplomat, and perhaps elsewhere. So we can either make sense of a memory of distant shores, which we have 6 of, or Z story, which we have 3 of. I'm going to go with the memory of distant shores because I have more of them. Of course, that's why, that's where, and now you know who. We have 1 vital intelligence. Okay, so I believe with this, my supremacy London will go up, and perhaps... Okay. What's that? Tell me, quickly. Enthusiastic nods. I'm glad you brought this to me. I have a colleague of sorts, a diplomat, so-called. I will tell you because I trust you. This diplomat will pay better, but I will put the information to better use. He leans forwards. There are powers in this world I cannot speak of. There are affairs of the Navy I am not proud of. Bring me more information like this, and we can set matters right. 350 echo for that. Nice. Okay, so now am I going to have a supremacy stat, which I spent so long being confused about? There it is! There it is! The missing supremacy stat. You cannot see it, but I am gesturing expansively with my arms at the supremacy stat, and I spent so long going, where the fuck is this? Oh, I'm so happy. Okay. Let's immediately go speak to the voracious diplomat. The diplomat lairs near Mansion's Pyre in a second-floor office above a gymnasium for pugilistic ladies and gentlemen. Your conversation is punctuated by distant shouts and blows. The diplomat smiles fondly at the sounds. Let's, pick up an agent. I have a friend, the diplomat says casually, who would be grateful for passage somewhere else. The Khanate, for instance, or Port Carnelian. An agent will allow you to establish an intelligence network and sometimes to grow it later. Let's do this. A name and address. Both are probably temporary, but they're all you need. We now have one diplomatic agent, and we lost one Admiralty's favor. I'm going to also ask about the diplomat's role. What kind of diplomacy is involved? A catly grin. The kind of diplomacy that doesn't get written down. I'm attached to the Admiralty, not the Foreign Office. London is not what she was, but she still has interests abroad. I look after them as best I can. I do hope you're patriotic enough not to ask for too many details. Okay, and then we can ask about the dark-spectacled admiral. Do they work closely together? A carefully neutral expression. Well now, the admiral is a man of principle. Very straightforward. Very traditional in his views. I think it's rather courageous of him to expect the Navy to operate without outside assistance, and he has excellent taste in both chamber music and wine. I hope that makes my feelings clear. Okay, that's all to talk to her about. Let's go deliver Sphinx Stone. Special constables, black uniforms, distinctive caps, the badge of the Ministry of Public Decency. Wait with a cart. Sign, sign, sign. Here's a receipt. Here's a discretion contract. Here's a penalty contract. Your vision is blurred by the end of it all. The cart rumbles off into the coiling fog. Here's your reward. A new recruit. Who awaits your attention? Sure. I'll take more Zailers. You know, I haven't had chances to find either of these things, so I'm going to usher in a new day at the Rose Market. A starving poet is looking for solace fruit, and the veteran privy councillor is seeking an outlandish artifact. Those both feel much easier to find than the previous ones. We'll see, though. Alright, let's get you repaired. Oh yeah, I forgot that I have a fuck ton of Admiralty favor that I can get fuel with. Okay, I'm going to ask if there's anything in particular. Codex again? Okay, sure. I don't know if there's anything else for... Oh, yeah. Interesting. I can peruse my comprehensive port report in private. Perhaps you are unwilling or unable to take it to the Admiralty. I'm gonna see if the alarming scholar will be interested in this port report, actually. doesn't look like it. Okay. I'll take this little present, though. Thank you very much. Okay. I don't know if I do this, if I will not get the future where the person, talks to me. But they're right that I don't trust the Admiralty. But I'm gonna give it to the Admiralty because I'm scared. I'm gonna do it here. I'm gonna do it here. I'll get a secret for it. Much to sift through. The Empire of Hands, no equal to London, but certainly a power in waiting, a labyrinth of simian complexities. Consider the opportunities. Someone else has also considered the opportunities. You have an invitation. Cool. Okay, so I do get that. An invitation to Benthik College. Your travels have caught someone's attention. A delightful invitation. Benthik College is pleased to invite you to an exclusive and educational evening with Lady Agatha Treadgold, delightful adventuress, and raconteuse? I don't speak French. Of thrilling, true tales of feist and spunk. On the back is a scribbled note. Come speak to me afterwards, darling. Opportunity beckons. I'm going to attend the lecture. Opportunities are always worth exploring, at least. So true, especially in this game. A trip to Benthik. Benthik is the most open-minded of the London colleges. You find yourself waiting for the lecture in a queue of students, devils, and bohemians, observed with some scorn by passers-by in Somerset colors. An evening with the delightful adventuress. Her feet have trodden lands most in the Neath have never even heard of. Her eyes have seen every opportunity for fame and glory while there. An evening with the delightful adventuress. Whoever she is, she knows how to pack a hall. Not a seat is empty as she takes the stage. The fine cuisine of the Chilenate, the darling Claymen, all but a prelude, my dears. Her stories tend towards the fanciful and conveniently improvable, but the delightful adventuress has the credulous audience spellbound for hours. Many of her tales of monsters and lost cities have a common theme. She visited them ahead of a certain Lady Lenora Fortescue. Is this the first time you've seen names? I feel like nobody ever gets names. Huh. Okay. I'm weirded out that there are names here. She visited them ahead of a certain Lady Leonora Fortescue, the quite adorable, daring archaeologist with whom she sparked a bracing rivalry back at the finishing school. The rest are tales, bitter as the sourest grapes, of being cheated of triumphs by the very same Fortescue, whose fanciful fictions are fit only for the penny dreadfuls. By the end, her stories are notably more bitter than boastful. She still receives a standing ovation. A business proposition. The delightful adventuress's masked clayman Barnabas escorts you to the principal of Benthik's study, where she sits sipping brandy by the fire. Ah, my dear Capitano! Firelight glints in her eyes as she raises the glass. I hear you are recently returned from the empire of, monkeys? Hands, yes, of course. It is a rare breed that can make such a voyage. Foolhardy, too, perhaps. She sips her brandy. I wish to charter your no doubt fine vessel to that primitive little island chain. There I shall find what I need to show up the infernal Leonora Fortescue once and for all, and you, the delightful adventuress, squints, sizing you up. Sufficient compensation will not be a difficulty. A most mutually beneficial arrangement. You will agree. Sure. I will accept. It is a long voyage, but you know the way. Splendid. The delightful adventuress drains her glass dry. Then we shall see you upon the morrow for the voyage. Barnabas, pack my valise. Valise? More words I don't know. Adventure awaits. Okay. So I'm definitely going to Empire of Hands next time. Find out if me writing down E of H lets me remember it tomorrow. Is there anything else that I want to do here? I'm going to read the morning papers. Oh, I'm going to turn in a bunch of port reports, aren't I? And then I collected a bunch of Admiralty's favor, and I completely forgotten that it helps me get, fuel. So I'm gonna go collect a bunch of that. Which is in dry dock. I'm gonna do this 10 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think. I wasn't really counting for the first little bit, but close enough. Okay. And then I will visit the shops, buy myself a bunch of supplies. What does this look like? Looks like that. Okay. I'm gonna get 40 of each of these and also a bunch of foxfire candles. And I'm gonna write down spy conate. Okay. I think I know what I want to do next, which is good. I like to know what I want to do next. I will... I'm gonna keep all of those things around. I've already decided there's not a better gun, and I need a bunch of money to get a better engine. Okay, with that, thank you very much for listening to this, the 31st episode of Salt Play Sunless Sea. I will talk to you later. Goodbye.